The next thing I want to cover in this series of videos is the Rako Hub. So let's imagine you've installed all of your light switches and your dimmers, and you've got everything installed and working, but nothing's programmed at this point. Very handily with Rako, the default state for dimmers is lights on. So in a project on a building site, once everything's wired up and you turn the power on via the circuit breaker, all your lights will come on. So you've got the option there to be able to work and light up the building sites for the other tradespeople, and then turn the lights off and on via the circuit breaker, just to keep the other trades happy before you program things. Let's imagine you've come to the point now where you want to start programming things. Before you jump into RASoft and start doing things, you want to just log into the hub first. So remember, the Rako Hub is your bridge between the Rako world and the IP world. So if it's a wired system, your WK hub will be RJ11 connected to a rack link to power it, and an RJ45 Ethernet connection to the network. If it's purely a wireless system, you're going to have an RK hub. That will come with a power supply and, again, Ethernet connection to the network. Regardless of which hub it is, find its IP address on the network and log into it via your favorite web browser. The first thing you want to do is go down to help and then check for updates. Make sure you are on the latest firmware before you start doing anything. I can see the current version is 3.9.0. I'm on that version, so I'm on the latest. And maybe if there's no internet on the building site, maybe do that in the office before you take it to site. Also in this help area, just by way of mentioning it, you've got a hot link straight here to all of the Rako manuals straight away, which is very handy. There is a manual on the Rako hubs telling you how to do stuff, so give that a little read if you want more detail. You've also got links to data sheets here as well. The next thing you want to do is create a My Rako Cloud account. So if you click on this and click through, you get to the My Rako area, and you can create a Rako Cloud account for this site. So it's free. What you'll do is you'll create a Rako account, and then you'll log into that account with the hub, and you'll also log into that account with the app when you get round to the app stage, and then your app will work from anywhere in the world. So that's also very handy. So that's the main things you want to. Under system, you've got some options here to back up and reboot and things like that. So not a bad idea to get a backup when you've finished the overall job. Moving up into configuration, I won't go through all the menus, just the key things that you need to make sure you do, and pointing out a few bits and pieces. The very, very, very important thing to do is here. Set your house address. So if you remember back in the earlier modules, the Rako addressing scheme is house address. Then in each house you've got room code and then channel codes. The house address we talked about before. Ideally use the front door number of the house. As a general rule of thumb, that's not a bad idea. So you're going to put that into RASoft later, and what you want to do is set that now in the hub. So when you bring the hub into RASoft, the house addresses match, so you don't get any conflict going on there. So set your house address here. As a little side note, do you remember we talked about ether bridging, where you can have multiple hubs on a big project to extend wireless range around where you've got some wireless devices, and maybe you've got a keypad that needs to talk to a wireless device that's too far away, and you've got multiple hubs. If you have got that, then all you've got to do is tick the enable ether bridge tick box here on each hub, and then that's it. That's all you've got to do. They'll then start communicating with, they'll discover each other, and they will share all the information needed to make that work. That's the key things that you need to know about here. Date and time wise, it is automatically based on UK time. So if you're installing it in a different time zone, then you might want to look at that. Here's where you can reset your password and things like that. And there's some more functions here available for setting up custom strings and some more advanced stuff that I'm not going to go into now. Very handy mention of the log. If you have got some weird behavior, it's very handy to jump in here and press buttons on light switches, and then you get a running tally of what's going on. In case there's some weird behavior going on, that's quite useful. That's the key things you want to do under cloud. When you've previously created your cloud account, this is where you can then connect your Rako hub to that cloud account. So you want to do that as well. And then you're pretty well good to go to launch Rasoft. The hub's going to be empty to start with. So with a brand new hub out of the box, there'll be nothing in here under rooms. That will populate later once you've created the project in Rasoft, brought the hub into the project, and then downloaded the project to Rasoft. That's when it will learn about all your rooms and channels. This one has had some programming before, so you can see what it will look like later on, where you've got in the kitchen, I've got keypad and these channels and these circuits, and this all updates in real time. Also a handy tool for troubleshooting. If something weird's happening, you can then press buttons and see what's happening here, as well as using the log. So that's the key things you need to be doing with the Rako hub before moving on to the next stage of programming using Rasoft. Most important thing was latest firmware, get it on the latest firmware to start with, and set the house code. That's the two things you really need to do before you start programming with Rasoft. Hope that was useful. Thanks.